Yeah, like why would they?
I used to knock too, you know, and he's that little walk. Boom, hold on.
It's Will. Who was that masked man?
Yeah.
Like I hate when they do. I hate when they do stuff like that. They just update it and then it throws everything off. It's fucking stupid.
Now in this corporation, every Zoom meeting, everybody has a mask on. Bye. You should definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list hopefully before I'm dead.
All right. Well, if you don't get to it, it's not that serious, but it's a good movie.
No, but I mean, I'm a Tom Cruise fan anyway, so it's kind of good to like know all the fans of the people, all the movies that you're a fan of.
Well, I've never seen every single. I like Tom Cruise. I've never seen every single Tom Cruise movie. I like that. There's some movies I don't want to see. He'd be the greatest actor in the world, man. The only actor that I think I've wanted to and I've seen every movie is Denzel. Other than that, I could like you, but if I don't like the movie I'm looking at, then I don't give a fuck.
I want to do that with Jack Nicholson too. I want to go back and watch like his older stuff.
Yeah, he's one of those. I just depends on it. Again, man, not every song from every person you like is a great song. Some you just hit the fast forward on. I don't have to see every single movie everybody does that I like.
But everybody's review could be different, you know. Like, how many movies have you seen where they're like, "Oh, this movie is the worst movie ever," and then you actually enjoyed it? You were one of the few people that did. So,
well, in that aspect, you're correct. Like, I go my own eye test and the nose tests. If I like what it looks like and I smell what it's cooking, I give it a shot. I don't have to follow the masses. But there's things I look at and I'll just be like, nah. Like, I'm an Adam Sandler fan, but that Spanglish shit, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I gave up on him a long time ago, man. I mean, he's funny in spurts, but like after a while, it's like, yo, I don't get it, man.
I didn't see, but I heard his last one that he did for Netflix about with the Jewel and Kevin Garnett. I heard that was pretty damn good.
I heard that as well. I
heard he acted as
it was all right. I saw it. It was all right.
Worth the watch though.
It's about a diamond or something. He's a jeweler.
No, I mean, is it worth? Would you watch it again if you saw it, or if you need to see it again?
Watch it again? Probably not. It was just one of those things where it was like, I got nothing to watch. I'll check this out, and then I watched it, and it was like, it was better than I expected, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, you got to go see this.
I got you. All right. Well, I hope everybody's doing good. We're gonna start it off proper. Welcome to the Palz and Palz podcast, Mr. William, Len Dukes. Please, if you can tolerate us, like, subscribe, comment, share, all the good stuff. I was told I had to start doing that because I don't do that enough. So I gotta start asking shit. So if you do, please do. If you don't, your choice. It's all good.
Hit that little like button.
Yeah. Oh God, we turned into one of those. All right.
Yeah.
Smash that like button.
Smash
Devour that like button.
Put the rock bottom on that like button.
Make sweet love to the like button.
Sweet chin music.
So, Mr. William and Len.
Yo.
I say Mr. William first because this is more his forte, our forte.
Right.
But let's get the nonsense. Well, we missed 2 weeks. Well, this is our second week. We missed 1 week. I feel like every time we miss a week, like crazy shit happens. Not crazy shit, but we missed some things. So with that said, the circus that Will predicted it was going to be is over. And I am talking about Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. That is come and gone. Mr. William, Len, did you guys see the fight? Did you hear the fight? Did you waste time, money, and effort to see that?
I didn't pay for it, but I saw highlights.
I mean, if you saw the highlights, you saw the whole fight at that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, good point. Well, the rest of the fights on the card, I didn't watch any other fights, just that one.
It's such a lose-lose for Jake.
Oh, okay.
Because if you beat somebody that does not have any credit for his striking in a boxing match, it's one thing if you would have fought him MMA style that you can grapple, you can kick, and you beat him like that, okay. But you fought somebody again, like, you know, if you cut somebody's both of their hands off and got into a boxing ring, it was the equivalent of the same thing.
Yep.
It lasted a minute and change, and you got to see, you know, Pudgy Askren take a right, got up, and the ref called it. It was over in like a minute and a half or whatever the hell it was. Waste of time. Most people saw this happening when we were talking about it. We both admitted like we would like to see Ben win, but we're pretty sure he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
When you're fighting somebody with no hands in a boxing match, and honestly, no speed either. Like, he's not a speed demon out there. He's built to just stand his ground and wrestle with you. He's not built to throw the hands.
How far past his prime was this kid Erskine?
Askren,
Yeah. I don't know.
or as Kobe Covington called him, ass cream.
I'm glad I didn't say that though.
So, okay, he's accomplished. For all the shit people talk, he still gets a level of respect for the things that he does, because the things that he did well.
Okay.
Olympic wrestler, like, he's a legit wrestler.
Or like he has a full pedigree of like.
He's a legit wrestler. Like, he will smash most people wrestling. He went to Bellator. Like, he did 2 other organizations before he came to UFC, and he was a champion in both of them. Like, he was dominant.
Okay. All right, so he's a comp. Okay, so when did his decline starts? Like,
he, again, going into a sport that you have to have some type of hand game. Going into MMA, I believe I heard some UFC person that fought. It might have been Askren, that they were talking about different competition levels in the other organizations and UFC. And he said that competition level is the same. You will get guys like a thump in the other organizations. He goes, the difference is UFC, there's more of those guys in UFC than in the other organizations. When you get to the top tier people in the other organizations, you're then mixing it up with the best of the best. There's more best of the best in UFC. So that was his thing. When he fought Masvidal, I believe that was the beginning of his end. And after that fight, he needed hip replacement. Like, the wear and tear, I would probably say, aged his career. So by the end of the Masvidal fight, he had the hip surgery, plus the age, plus he's been around for a long time. Like, he was on the decline.
All right.
Not having the hand game, not having the hand speed, going into somebody Jake Paul's younger. He's faster, and he boxes. Like, that's what he does. So it showed. And I guess the moral of the story is, I kind of thought he was going to lose not Jake. I kind of thought Askren was going to lose anyway, because he kept saying the same thing, and it drew a red flag for me. If you go, I don't care about the end result. I'm getting paid to do this. I don't care what happens. Then you don't have that sense of urgency. Like, I need to win. Like, I'm going to knock this guy out. Like, I need to do this.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That it was just like, you had a feeling like it was just a paycheck for him. It wasn't anything.
Admittedly, it was just a paycheck for him. Because they were like, well, what happens if you lose? He goes, I'm gonna hang out with my kids and teach wrestling class and do my podcast like I always do. He did not care about the end result. And it showed. If you don't care, you're not going to put your heart into it.
Right.
I would suggest, if you don't care about the end result, don't do it. The reversal on that rule is, if you're going to get paid $1 million to not give a fuck and not care what the result is, go ahead and do it. Because he got $1 million to just not care. He got $1 million for a minute and change worth of his time. Whether he trained hard, like, again, he looked like a little pudgy retired dude when he came in. You could tell the difference of athleticism between the two. And it showed. Like, if you don't care and your heart's not in it like that, why should the person who's paying give a shit? So it was a clown show, like Will predicted.
Yep.
We were talking about it before it happened, so I just want to briefly touch about it. It's done. You know, it's win-win for Ben Askren. It's lose-lose for Jake Paul until he fights somebody with a pedigree of a thumper. Like, I got these hands, let's go. Because he
Right.
still hasn't done it yet.
Do you feel like this is all like a build up? And I'm sorry to cut you off, but you feel like this is all like his like his rise is more like a build up to something like a maybe like a Mayweather or
I think, and we'll chime in. I think he's going to get away with fighting non-combatants until he has to fight a combatant. He's going to continue to just cherry pick his opponents until, all right, you now have to fight somebody. I think he's there. After Ben Askren, where are you going to go? Unless you're going to fight somebody with no arms. You know, I don't know where you go other than competition.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Wouldn't put it past him. The other Paul, I forgot the other name. It's Jake Paul and
Logan
Paul.
Oh, Logan Paul, yeah.
I actually like Logan Paul a little bit better. He seems more chill, more down to earth, more realistic in his. He's fighting Mayweather, like that's happening.
Oh, that's maybe I'm mixing up the Logans or whoever the Pauls.
But that's the credit though. Like, okay, you're going to fight Mayweather. Like, good shit. Win or lose, you're fighting you're fighting the best of the best. You know, at least you're gonna do that. If you lose, you go hold your head high.
Yeah.
You know, Jake Paul is just, again, a YouTuber, a basketball player who looks like he's never really been in a fight like that, and now a wrestler that has zero hand game. Like, where are you going from here? Like, what are you trying to do with your career? If you're just trying to make paydays until whatever, then you keep doing that and keep finding people that, you know, are fit to fight but don't have the capability to box. You can keep doing that, but eventually that's going to wear thin and people just aren't going to care about your fights anymore. So he's painted himself in a corner that now he's pretty much going to have to fight somebody worth fighting.
And you see, he believes his own. At this point, he believes his own hype. He was at the UFC fight that I was watching last night, and you can tell he believes this. He, even though he boxed these people who are definitely not boxers, he really believes. It looks like he really believes he's on the Floyd Mayweather type of level. He like really believes his own hype, but he's gonna get checked at some point.
And honestly, he may be Bruce Lee reincarnated with the hands, but you're fighting competition that nobody gives a shit. You need to fight somebody that you can put your skills to the test, and then you get judged. Like, wow, this dude really stepped in the ring with so-and-so. And even if he loses but puts a good show, you're like, okay, respect on that man's name. When you're fighting the level of competition that you're fighting, and let's not, you know, he trains hard. I'll give him that. Like, he trains. So you're fighting people that's not even training as hard as you. So you're just setting yourself up for an easy win. Okay, but after a certain amount of time, the easy shit got to get put to the side. You need to go at it.
Yeah.
So until he does that, all the criticism is going to be righteous. Until you go in, show, and prove. And I get it, credit just to hop in the ring, but you're past that stage now. You're past the stage of credit just for going into the ring. You have to now go into some battles, and win or lose, it doesn't matter. But as long as you put up the show, then okay, you get the respect on it. I don't know. I don't know what's next for him. At this point, you know, UFC fighters are like, you know, fuck him. And they're still putting respect on, like, he's training hard, but fuck him. Like, he's not fighting anybody. And a lot of the dudes with hand games in UFC is like, fight me. Like, I'll take that million and I'll whoop your ass.
Yeah.
But we'll see what he does in the future. You know, maybe he fights a WNBA star now. I don't know where he's going with that.
Who are some of these guys that have been saying that, the dudes that you said that have hands and they were like, yo, let's do this?
I was just seeing clips of people. I didn't really see
specific names.
The only thing is, like, top tier dudes aren't paying him any mind. Like the John Joneses of the world. Like, only person that's top tier that I've seen be like, yo, dude, I'll slap the shit out of you is Cormier. And he was like,
Oh
I'll slap
yeah.
the shit out of you. Like, yo, dog, you're not ready for this.
Last night they got into it too, at the fight. Yeah.
So until he steps his game up and fights a legit, because Cormier, the only thing that hurt Cormier in the heavyweight division is he's not the biggest heavyweight. So he's at a disadvantage on that one. But that man throws hands. Like, if you've seen the Miocic fights, and like he thumps like he could throw those hands. So, you know, I would think if Jake Paul would fight Cormier would mop the floor with him. But that's just me.
But what didn't he come into his like last fight like super overweight or something like that?
Cormier has always been like a heavier set dude.
Yeah. He's never like ripped or like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like UFC Monsters Inc., like the big round eyeball with arms and legs. Like, that's Cormier, but he could do that and still knock you out though. Like, I joke, but he will knock you the fuck out because, you know, he's good like that. You know, he could thump.
And it's interesting because Cormier his base is a wrestler, but he can thump. Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see what happens with the Jake Paul fight. The next fight coming up, you know, maybe he takes on different competition. Maybe he doesn't. It all is what it is. So we're going to pack up the tents on that circus that it was. Good call, Will.